Animals are usually pretty good at taking care of themselves, but sometimes they land into situations where they need an extra pair of hands. From a man performing surgery on a butterfly's wings to shaving 80 pounds of wool off of a sheep, here are a few times when humans helped animals. Elephants' tusks are one of the most important parts of their bodies since they use them for literally everything from eating to breathing. Most elephants can actually die without their tusks, but things were the complete opposite for this elephant. Luca the elephant had been suffering from a toothache for quite some time, and even lost a lot of weight from not eating that well. So it had to get the tooth checked out by an animal dentist. After the dentist looked at Luca's tooth, he found that it had actually rotated the wrong way and wasn't functioning the way it was supposed to. The tooth was also infected from some areas and completely mobile. So, to remove the tooth, the dentist had to actually drill all around the tooth while the elephant was under anesthesia. Then he just pulled the tooth out. After that, they flattened the tooth right underneath to help it adjust properly. Now that Luca's dental issues and pain are finally gone, her behavior and eating habits have gotten a lot better. Monarch butterflies usually only live for a couple of months max, but this butterfly was struggling to even live a couple of days because of its injured wings. Its upper left wing was discolored, flimsy, and couldn't move at all, and without its wings, the butterfly wouldn't be able to survive for much longer. So, a wildlife volunteer decided to save this butterfly's life by performing a wing transplant. The first thing she did was cut off the injured wings. Butterflies can't actually feel any pain in their wings. It's basically like cutting hair or nails. After that, she glued the fake wing to the butterfly's body, and after a little bit of adjusting, the butterfly was able to fly normally again. Turtles are very friendly creatures that don't really do any harm to others, so it's really sad to see them get hurt by our careless actions. In this video, marine biologist Christine Figener films her team removing a straw from a turtle's nose. At first, they thought it was a worm or a parasite, but after they managed to take out a few inches of the object, they realized that it was actually a straw. They used pliers to slowly pull the straw out of the turtle's nose, and it took around 5 minutes to completely extract it. The turtle wasn't on anesthesia and looked to be in distress from the pain. The turtle's nose even started bleeding at one point and started sneezing all over the place. But they couldn't actually take the turtle to a vet since the nearest one was hours away, and even then they didn't know if the vet would know how to deal with a huge sea turtle. Once the straw was out, the turtle was totally fine and went on its way. After this video was uploaded on YouTube, it ended up getting extremely viral with millions of views. The video was so impactful that it was even the reason why some huge corporations started switching over to paper or metal straws. In a few years, plastic straws might not even be a thing, because it's either plastic or the earth. Toucans are usually able to take very good care of their humongous beaks by washing them regularly. But this toucan wasn't able to because of his severely injured feet. Toucans' feet are usually the main thing that help them maintain themselves and scratch their bodies. Without their feet, toucans can't really wash their beaks and get rid of all of the dead skin that forms on them. This toucan had a very dry and flaky beak, just because of its inability to properly use its legs. The dead skin had just slowly been building until it literally clogged its nose. So the handler tried his best to help the toucan's beak go back to normal by hydrating it for months on end. He would rub coconut oil on it, wash it, and use sandpaper to buff it. After all of that hard work, the toucan's beak had finally turned back to normal, other than a little bit of dryness here and there. Ba Rock the sheep had been found roaming around in the wild in Australia by a property maintenance man and was later taken by rescuers. The video shows the sheep carrying more than 80 pounds of extra wool, which was keeping it from properly balancing itself or, well, doing anything for that matter. According to the rescuers in the video, the sheep had to have been out in the wild for over 5 years. They realized that they needed to get that wool off of him if he wanted another shot at life. So they got their shears ready and started cutting the wool off. The poor sheep didn't even stop them from doing anything, even though it was clearly very scared. It took more than an hour to fully get the wool off, But afterwards, Rock looked way better and was actually able to walk properly for once. He is now adjusting to his new life at the shelter. Horses' hooves are supposed to be trimmed every couple of weeks or so, but this pony had to live years before it could get its hooves trimmed. A farmer found this neglected pony with overgrown hooves, which was preventing it from running around as it should be. So the farmer decided to trim his hooves so he could run alongside all of the other horses without being left behind. What's weird is that the pony's back hooves had actually naturally trimmed off from walking on rocks and stuff, but not its front hooves. When it came to trimming the hooves off, the farmer could barely do anything with regular clippers, so he had to resort to a sawzall right away. After a lot of hard work, he was able to trim both of the hooves properly. Pony hooves are actually a lot tougher than a regular horse's hooves, so it takes forever to get rid of them, especially when they're overgrown to this extent. After that, the pony was finally able to run without tripping every second, and seemed like it was in a lot less pain than before. Kavan is known as the loneliest elephant in the world, and was actually a gift from the Sri Lankan government to Pakistan back in 1985. Elephants usually live in social families with a bunch of other elephants, and Kavan actually had a partner, Saheli, who had died from an infection in its leg. After that, Kavan mostly lived on his own, without the company of other elephants. He wasn't treated that well at the Islamabad Zoo, and was only being fed 200 kilograms of sugarcane every day, which wasn't great for his health either. Obviously, after all this mistreatment, Kavan was a very violent elephant, and was mostly chained up. They even fed him alcohol to calm him down sometimes. Kavan later became extremely depressed and was constantly swaying side to side. Things got so bad that even Sher went to Pakistan just to see Kavan and had hired a legal team so they could press to free the elephant. In 2020, the Islamabad High Court made the decision to relocate all of the animals at the zoo, and 4 Paws stepped in. The head, Dr. Amir Kali, came to Pakistan and started preparing to transport Kavan to Cambodia so he could live the life he should have. The ride there was pretty difficult, since Pakistan didn't have any elephant crates made for airplanes, so they had to make a custom one just for him. Once Kavan made it to Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary, the almost 36-year-old elephant had finally found a forever home, which wasn't a zoo where he was suffering. Alright, comment down below which of these stories moved you the most. Before you go, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to TrendJoint for more. See you around!